Hey, welcome to the Best Gay Sex Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Trevor Hoppy. Well, normally I'm your host, but actually today we're in for a treat. We have a guest host, Master J. Tebias Perry, author of the book Leather Mentorship. If that name sounds a little familiar, it may be because he was a guest on season 1 of this podcast, episode 14 specifically. Check it out. And in that episode, he talked about all the work that he does to mentor people in his community. And that really stuck with me, after season 1, because it made me reflect on what I was doing in my own life and my own work to bring others with me. What is the point of success if you can't help others along the way? And I really admire what Master J. Tebias Perry has done. And you hear that reflected in today's conversation with his mentee, our special guest, Jamal Herrera-O'Malley. Herrera-O'Malley snatched the crown of International Mr. Leather in 2024, and that is a huge deal. If you're not in the leather world, you may not know what these titles mean, but this is the king of the titles in the leather world. IML is the big one. It is internationally renowned. People come from all over the globe to try to snatch that title, and it was Herrera-O'Malley that did it in Chicago in 2024. And he did it in no small part thanks to the mentorship of Master J. Tebias Perry. I really think their relationship is something for textbooks because it is just so wholesome and also very kinky at the same time. It is just a testament to the power of what real mentorship can do, both for the mentor and the mentee. And in today's conversation, they talk about play. As a pup, I think Jamal Herrera-O'Malley really pushes us to think about the concept of play when it comes to sex in ways that we might not normally make sense to us. Play, for most of us, is something that children do, right? It's not something adults do. But this is a mistake, right? Play allows us to step outside the normal confines of society, to shake off the things that constrict us, and to allow us to do things that we normally couldn't, right? To imagine a different world. There is no better example of this than pup play when it comes to sex, right? I mean, talk about stepping out of the norms of everyday life, right? He really, in this conversation, Jamal really pushes us to help think about what play can do for us. What can play do for you? I think this episode really helps us think about that. So I'm really, really proud to bring it to you. And it's part of a 3-part series on mentorship. So you heard me interview my mentor, David Halprin. And in a couple weeks, you're going to have another episode where one of the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence from season 1 is going to come back and interview their mentor. So I'm just thrilled to have this structure for this season around mentorship. And that is my homage, really, to Master J. Tebias Perry and all the work that he has done. I'm really thrilled and proud to be a tiny little footnote in that story with this series and this podcast. So without further ado, please enjoy this conversation between Master Perry and Jamal Herrera-O'Malley.
So, welcome to the Best Gay Sex Podcast. Of course, I'm Master Tebias Perry. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. A little bit about you.
All right. Well, I'm Jamal Herrera-O'Malley, a.k.a. Alpha Pup Savage. You're reigning IML for the next, 3 days, 46. And I'm from San Francisco, California.
With this drinks to you, let's start it off the right way. Here's to you. Clink, clink. So let's jump into the Best Gay Sex Podcast. I've known you for almost 4.5 years. And how did you and I start out?
Actually, I'm going to credit my husband for that one. Because you both are sneakerheads, and we were sitting in the bar, Oscars, and I was having a conversation with people, and then y'all two started having a conversation about shoes, because you hit it off because he saw your shoes, and and then he just leaned over and he said, I need you to meet somebody because y'all two are going to hit it off. And it was just like that. It was like, as soon as we started talking, it just like, oh my God, like family in town, I didn't know it.
You know, and it was just so ironic. It's like we just instantly just click, became what the community call like fast friends. But I think over time, I think our relationship deepened. And then I learned more about you and David. Then you learned more about me. So let's talk about how our journeys evolved into personally what I do in the leather community versus what you were doing and how you merged over into the leather kink community.
Well, at first, I played rugby. So, I was on a rugby team in
Which is a
Atlanta.
very parallel community, the
Absolutely.
fair community.
And I did have a friends who were pups. And at that time I was a handler, um, pup tiger at the time. And that was my first endeavor in the whole pup and handler community. And I found it very interesting. However, I found myself wanting to be a pup more than I wanted to be a handler. But in Atlanta, it was just like perceptions. And so, it wasn't easy for me to make that transition. But having conversations with you and talking about leather culture and that really fascinated me as far as being part of the leather community because even back before I met you, I had my first harness and suspenders made back in St. Louis back in 2015. And I felt so sexy and I just felt I was hot as in my leathers. I still have those leathers today in pristine condition. I still actually wear them every now and again. Um, but and then it trickled up into getting me gauntlets, with my team's logo on it. And it's just like leather has been creeping up and creeping up. And then when I met you, learning like a lot of what they call old guard protocol, or just really history, leather history, the foundations of leather, not just in general, but I love hearing Black history and how we evolved in the leather community because that was important for me as well. Understanding that because the images that you see out is not the same as the imagery that once we started talking, I got to see was a lot better. And then even, learning a lot about oh my God, Tom of Finland and how people of color really were uh, got to be involved in the Tom of Finland and that history behind that. And it's an eye-opening experience on learning that culture. And I credit a lot to you for that because I mean, I wouldn't be the person I am today and know as much as I did if it wasn't for you. But it was your passion for it that got me involved and wanted to learn more. And it was organic though. It wasn't like, okay, well, you're going to be my mentor and I'm going to be your mentee. It was just so organic as a friendship and a relationship to where you met my mother, you met my husband. It's maybe you would consider a non-traditional mentorship, but was one of the best mentorships that I ever could have had for me.
I think it started out as friends and sometimes mentorships, even under the 5 mentorships that I talk about in the book. It could be shadow mentorship. It could be structured mentorship. It could be either 5 of those, but we became very close friends. And I cultivate friends differently, as you know. If you get into well, cross the burning sands, as I call it with friends, I pull people in. I pull people into my experience, and then just so happen open up, and then they learn more things about me. But collectively, there were a lot of things that you already knew as far as in the whole makeup of gay culture, especially in Atlanta. But that's a perfect segue to my next question. As a pup of color, a lot of people don't know that you are Afro-Caribbean.
Correct. Correct.
A lot of people don't know that because they look at the outward expression of how we show up into these spaces. So by saying, "Oh, Alpha Pup Savage, he's a black pup. You're not black. You're Afro Latino."
Yeah, my father's full-blood Puerto Rican. Before I got married, it's Jamal Herrera.
Yeah.
So, obviously, um, I almost was born in Puerto Rico. It was just a matter of a week difference when I was with my parents were visiting my grandparents, and, um, my mother wanted to go to her hospital in Brooklyn to have the baby, and they said, "It's coming." So she said, "We got to go." But yes, I have a lot of actually when I did my history, it all goes back to Spain. I have a large, it's like Spanish and Southern Africa. No, Western Africa, like Cameroon and Senegal, that area. And then I tracked where I started, like basically the slave ship, and where it went from Western Africa to it went from there to Spain, from Spain to Ireland to Scotland, Puerto Rico, and then um I could see I have what they call it's the native Puerto Ricans in that area, and you know how the Africans and the Puerto Ricans get
Which
together.
traveled,
Well,
that
the
was
native and
part of the American slave trade. That whole route that you just explained
yeah.
has a huge influence of African culture. So I'm going to pull it back just a little bit to colorisms within the Black, Latino, Afro-Caribbean um, eras, world space. So, what challenges have you found as far as like us as Black and Brown people with colorisms, the darkness and the lightness of people of color? Have you found any challenges as a pup, as a Leatherman, with colorisms
Well, yeah.
within the community?
And since it's a sex show, we're gonna talk about sex.
Oh, here we go.
You know, and it depends on whether I'm in the States or not. Because if I'm in the States, I find it more difficult. It's one of the two things: I'm either going to be fetishized or not found attractive because I'm not the traditional blonde hair, blue eye, or, I don't meet certain. And it also depends on where you live. Because, when I moved from Atlanta, which has a predominantly a large Black population, a POC population, to San Francisco, which does not, you know, it really played a difference. And I can see how a lot of people in an environment that's predominantly white, or really not necessarily white, but white and Asian, um, and how they can feel a certain way, especially people of color, because they're not made to feel attractive, because a lot of the Asian men will go for the white man. And so it was like, okay, so where do I fit in the mix? And then I may fit into where I'm fetishized. Now, the pop community, it it had become like the reason why I got my first title, which is a pop title, is because I didn't see a reflection myself in the community. And most of the people who are Black that were pups were like behind on Twitter. Or they weren't out in public as pups. They were behind closed doors, and they really focused on the sexual part of the pup play, but did not bring that out to the community. It was almost like they were hiding it, or it was that naughty little secret. So I just put that naughty little secret out into the forefront. And it created a chain reaction, because now you see a lot more POC pups out, and a lot more, not just POC, but trans, and also accessibility, deaf pups. And so, it created a chain reaction, because a lot of people saw something different in me, and they may not have been POC, but they could have been trans, but they saw that, I'm stepping out and doing something and not the traditional, and showing that you can be yourself and you can be the first one. And I've had a lot of people come up to me and say, thank you for showing up, and thank you for your representation. And that's where representation matter really started
Yeah.
was right
Okay.
then and there, was when I had to make a choice to say, am I gonna wait for somebody else to be the first, or should I just put my foot out there and say, you know what, maybe I should do this since I'm and not wait on anybody else? And I just said, sometimes you got to be the first. So that's what I did.
Well, let me ask you about this. Even with representation matters, and I can hear you in my ear right now, almost a year ago today, when you won the title of Mr. International Leather, which is super emotional for me. And hopefully I'll get through it on Sunday. But being with representation matters when we use the word POC, which is a buzzword now. We haven't always used POC or people of color or BIPOC.
But all POCs aren't the same.
Which is what you better take a sip of your drink because I'm about to dive into that. So when you mentioned where representation matters, there are a lot of times that I've seen otherwise when we use the word POC with, like you mentioned, Asian, Latinos, Pacific Islanders, people who are non-white, show up as POC, but they always don't bring the Black voices or Black experiences into the room when we always do. Can you speak to that or your experience with that?
A lot of that has to do with proximity to whiteness. I think a lot of lighter skinned Latinos and a lot of Asians, they don't get the same experience as somebody who is darker complected like myself. Um, they're the ones that are fetishized more, in my opinion, as being exotic in nature. And so they're more palatable, especially because they have straighter hair and they're lighter skin. And that even falls within our own community of when you have high yellow and light skin and good hair, yeah, you know,
Which is bullshit.
uh, it's that attractiveness and that proximity that they want. And so for us, it's like, oh, well, they don't notice, like, if I'm talking to you and somebody finds you appealing, that they will just dismiss me and stand in front of me and start talking to you, even though we're having a conversation.
Has that happened to you personally?
Oh, that's happened to me many, 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 many times.
And how did you handle that?
With style and grace, because here's the thing, and that's the difference. When you're used to it and you know how to manage it in an environment and internalize that and use that energy and switched around to a positive force. And that's why I stood on the stage that I did at IML. I took that energy and all those times that happened, and I brought it to the stage. And so when I said my speech, it all came out. It took over.
So how did you feel during that moment? Did you feel like this is my revenge by me saying this publicly? Or did you feel that it was just something that you just needed to say?
I think it was something that needed to be said. It wasn't revenge or anything like that.
Because you look damn good.
Well,
You look damn good when you said.
I wanted people to understand why I was standing there and why I'm here. And at the end of the day, I did it for the same reason I did my pup title. And I said it in my speech. If one person sees this and is inspired by me standing on this stage, and I already won the contest, um, you know, representation does matter. I wanted them to see me. I was the only person that looked like me in that top 20 last year that made it. Out of the 3 people that looked at me out of 58 contestants. So that needed to be changed. You know, that, and I noticed that when I went to Europe and there was lack of title holders that looked like me, but that has also changed over the past year. And I'm hoping that, me becoming IML helped influence that. And I know a lot of them came to me and said, wow, they, you know, not just here in the States, but in the Netherlands and London and, you know, different Gran Canaria, you know, places that you wouldn't think black people, you know, and I got to meet them and talk to them and share laughs and things together. And that's why I do what I do when I did what I did. It's not to win, but to show people that you can do this. You can stand on this stage and you can represent, no matter what adversity people put you through, you can stand 10 toes deep down in your truth and thank the people that put you there and gave you the strength to stand on that stage, like yourself, my mother, Mama Va, you know, Ron Moore, all these individuals who paved the way for me to stand there and give Hamad to say thank you. That was it wasn't revenge. It was saying thank you because of that power, because of that foundation, I I did handle those situations with style and grace and didn't, you know, and turn that energy into that negative energy into positive energy. These are the people that showed me how to do that. And not just in words, but in actions. And that's what I did. I just took all that into action every time I stepped on that stage. I wanted you to see the beauty. I wanted you to see that we are, you know, sexy. And we are, when I had that gladiator gown and that corset on that stage with my
It
hair
looked
going down
good.
my
I just
back,
looked at it.
you know, I was feeling so sexy. And that, you don't have to be naked to be sexy, even though I was half naked.
Yeah, I was about to say your shoulders are out,
With my
these.
flogger ready to go. And I just had this look, I had that one picture in my face like I'm ready.
If you could say what was your proudest moment during these last during this last year, what would be your proudest moment that you can stand behind coming up to Sunday to the contest?
It was funny. It was in when I went to take a stand for the bootblack MC in Amsterdam, and Jack, the trans man bootblack, came up to me and said, "You know what? You inspired me. You stand on that stage." Now, granted, this is a non-POC trans man told me that I inspired him with a bootblack title to stand on that stage at IML 47. Unfortunately, he couldn't come because of our political situation with Trump, and I completely understand that because he made it very uncomfortable for our trans brothers and sisters. And so um unfortunately, hopefully, you know, he'll feel comfortable in coming back in 48. But you know, it hit my heart because the fact that this is why I did what I did. This is what representation matter means. This is what, you know, us, you know, coming together and making sure, not just based on the color of our skin, but our experiences, that we can see past a lot of things like the color and see the experience that you've had and relate to that, and then it inspires you to move forward. I may not be a trans man, but for me to inspire a trans man,
It crosses
it
a
crosses the
bridge.
bridge.
So let's go a little bit deeper. So when we come into these spaces and we play and we have sex and we throw around our fetishes and our strengths and dom sub relationships, how do you find sex in the spaces that you choose to play in? How do you approach those spaces as being IML 46 and being the Jamal that everyone knows? How do you approach those spaces?
Okay, that's difficult. You you go into those spaces hesitantly, but I still go in those spaces because look, I love me a good old dungeon. I love having sex. I love group sex. I love sex around me. I think it's hot. I go from the voyeur to participant. But as IML, it's kind of different because you're going into this space and other people know who. It's like when you go into a dungeon, a lot of times you're going in there where people may not know who you are. They just see you, they think you're sexy, blah, blah, blah. But I'm walking in there and half the people know who I am. So then it's like, okay, so is this person approaching me because my title, or is this person approaching me because they genuinely find me attractive, or they just want to have the bragging rights and say, "Oh, I had sex with IML 46." And then you know what? That's how I first thought about it. That's how I first thought about it. After that, I didn't give. I said, "Look, if you cute and I want to,
Then it's
then
mutual.
it's mutual." You know what? I can't spend my time thinking about every nook and cranny. This is the leather BD. If we ain't out here having fun and having sex, then what? Then I'm doing a disservice to this title, and I'm doing a disservice to my community
By not
by
obliging.
not obliging. I mean, that's crazy. And I was like, you know what? Get out your head, or at least that head, at certain times, and go to the other one.
So let me ask you this. Now that's a good ass point. That's a really good ass point. So there have been times when I felt that I was fetishized, but I wanted this person and this person wanted me. Have you ever been in a situation like that where you knew that someone was fetishizing you? Because I mean, we're black, we're beautiful, we taste different, we are different, we play different, we are different. When you knew that you were being fetishized and you knew you wanted that person as well, how did you handle that situation?
I thought with the other head, not my head on my shoulders, but the other head, because I was like, oh, well, it's mutual. Yeah, he
Is that
fetishized,
pleasure
but
is pleasure?
right. It's like I wanted it. So I'm going to deny myself a pleasure because of what I think the reason why he wanted to. Look, if you fantasizing about me, that's a good thing.
Because I'm fantasizing about you.
Right, right. And there it is. And I'm like, now I think everybody in their own way fetishizes or at least fantasizes or finds someone else attractive that may not look like them. Whether, they could be, they may not have to be white. They could be red bone. They can be the Asian mix. Everybody finds somebody attractive, and if they're not going to say no if given the opportunity to have sex with them.
And who am I to yuck your yum? Who am I to tell you what the
Because
you
that could
should
be the
like
best sex
or
that you
what you
could
should?
ever have.
Exactly.
I mean, look at my husband. My husband is a redheaded ginger, from Ireland, and well, I love Ireland. I ain't gonna lie, but
I was about to say.
I mean, yeah, he has his fetishes too.
Right.
And but the thing about it is, you like what you like when you explore. Like, I remember Onyx. We empower, we educate, and we explore. And I took this year to explore.
Where's my other I need my other drink.
And with my husband's consent, I mean, he was exploring when I wasn't home. So I'm like, I had it was a great opportunity to explore different kinks because my husband's not the most kinkiest person, and I was interested in like wax play and flogging and impact play, and which I'm still working on the wax, but I got to line up for that. Auntie's going to do the wax.
Uh-oh.
So I was like, okay. Because I've seen Auntie set up, Auntie Plus, he got it set up. So I was like, okay, I'll try this. I've seen so much over my year that like needle play, because going into different type of dungeons, not just all gay, but also mixed and pan. You see a whole different size, different.
Because they play
They
different.
play differently. Yeah, and even with the women, wow, when I was at M Zone and I was seeing the beat down, and they were just loving it, getting the boot, you know. And I saw Living Marionette, like had needles in them, and they were and it was an amazing experience. And I got flogged, which was an amazing experience, and I loved it. Um, I learned from um, Dominion. Dominion was the first person to show me how to flog, and the first person to let me flog him.
Really?
Dominion. Dominion,
Wow.
and that was when I was online for Onyx, and I first met Dominion. Um, I mean, I'm sure everybody has their own opinion. I've really had a good experience. He's always been great to me. We've always had a great rapport. He's a really good guy. And then Onyx and in Northwest, oh, we just did Pound Town. So that they were like, oh, you a play. they was they was like, oh, you really played, and they loved it. It was like sometimes when you get comfortable and you just in yourself and you say, you know what, I want to explore, I want to play, I want to do. Sometimes the whole world shuts. Like when you're in that scene, everything around you is like gone, and you just in that scene, and it's one of the most amazing experiences you can have. Is just you and that person and having that experience at that time. It's amazing.
If you learned one thing, if you could mention one thing that you learned from Onyx, which is the most important thing, what would that be?
Don't be afraid to play. You don't we you should go out there and play, and we do play differently. And don't let the outside society dictate how what pleasures you like and what you do behind closed doors or within a dungeon space.
Okay. So for those who may not know, and you are Alpha Pup Savage, what is pup play?
Pup play is many things to many people. It could be a psychological thing, physical. I'm more of a physical type person. You get in that headspace, and I get in the headspace through touch, through um, physical interaction. That's what puts me in the headspace. Um, Now, pup play a lot of times may not be penetrative type thing. It could be more of an experience between you and a handler. Like you very similar to dom and sub situation, but everything's negotiated for it previously, agreed upon. I preface that you should never do anything that A, you don't agree to, B, that we haven't talked about, or and have some sort of way of safe word or something to communicate. uh, I'm uncomfortable, we need to stop, type of thing. But I like I like sex, so you know what I mean. I like the whole two puppies getting it done, just getting hood on, hood off. It does that more animalistic, more like primal.
Is this body handling or is this penetrative sex?
Oh
Like flip flop?
yes,
Okay.
oh yes. That's all.
So is that a perfect night for you? Is the flip
Oh,
flop?
oh, oh,
Is you pound pound town and pound
oh,
pound town?
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. Oh no, to the gods. I want my feet to curl up and my eyes roll to the back of my head. That's and I want to do the same thing to the next one. I do see if I'm dominant, I do see myself as a pleasure dom.
Yeah, a lot of pups that I've found are switch players. They're switch players. It's like the moment may switch, or you may put on another hood, which changes the whole headspace.
Oh yeah,
I've even seen that as well too. Have you?
yes. Um, people. There are many personas that a lot of people have more than one. Like depending on the color hood. Like one of my friends, when he has on his red and black hood, it's all about fisting,
Mm.
and he's in that fist. But then if he's in his orange and black hood, it's more about anal and oral for him. So it just depends on the persona. Me, well, my colors are blue and black. Anyway, um, the hood doesn't change for me. It's the whole. It's the headspace for me.
Mm.
It's more like that. I'm very kinetic, touching type of thing. For me, sexually, like I'm not the wham bang. Like some people could walk in a room, right, and somebody just have a butt up in the air. No, you may not talk to this person. You may not see their face. There's no intimacy at all,
Yes.
and get hard as a rock and bang that out. Me, there got to be some sort of intimacy. There's some sort of connection. Even if it's just I look at you and you are fine as fuck, that chemistry, there gotta be some chemistry. I can't fuck a hole in the wall. I just can't. It's not my thing. Because the best sex I have is when that chemistry is right. And y'all sweating and y'all getting it done.
And how long does this last?
We can last for a good couple of hours doing it right, honey.
Mm.
Oh yes, I guess a long. Oh, wait a minute, long. Oh,
Days?
no, not no days, but at least a good 6 hours. Or breaks, of course.
Oh, like eating breaks? Water breaks?
Water break.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm really old. You just really proved me that I'm damn near 60. So let's talk about something that um, I think as far as structurally, I think that you and I have been kind of paralleled with mentoring you up to this point. And I'm remembering the room down the hall on the very end when I brought you and Stefan with me when I judged IML 2 years ago. Well, 2 years ago, I'm going to give you my intentions and then you tell me what you got from that. So when I brought Stefan from London, and then I brought you with me from Atlanta at the time, or San Francisco, Atlanta at the time. My goal was for you guys to see what it was to be part of this whole machine and see the in and outs of how it works. How did mentorship help you in any kind of way? Or did you see mentorship from 2 years ago to now being IML 46?
Well, going to you with that experience was inspiring. It helped me make the decision that that's where I wanted to do. Um, because I saw inspiration on that stage. I saw people that inspired me because like Zodiac Onyx, where the non-traditional, they were represent representing leather in their own way. And I love that. I loved seeing that on the stage. And they weren't the only one, but you know, they're the one that stood out to me as like jaw dropping, and then your presence at IML, just how you would say pageantry, but just phenomenal how you wear leather and how you are unapologetic about what you wear and how you wear it, and it's stunning. And it inspired me and Stefan, because we both were like, okay, we're gonna do this. And but what was missing, I think, was yes, I wanted to do it. It was fascination, but it was when I put that with my desire for and put that with my experience of why I wanted to do it. Not just to be on that stage and look good, but once it coupled with there is a purpose for me standing on that stage, that's when it came all surreal and your mentorship was that much important because in in finding my way and getting to that point of understanding this is why I'm here, we had a lot of conversations about Blackness and what it is to be a Black man in the leather community and the POC and how not all POCs are viewed a certain way. And I'm not going to stay on the stage and speak for those
Don't
that
represent
don't
me.
represent me. You know what I mean? And, you know, and we talked about that. And that was why my speech was very pinpointed, very specific to who I was talking to and how and what I was saying, and not fluffing it up for the masses, but really focusing on people who are like me, who have been impacted by this. And it just had a trickling effect on a lot of other people feeling the same thing. But the moment for me, I think that made my IML. There was two moments. There's two moments. It was when I stepped after I finished the speech, and I don't think I breathed, took a breath through that whole speech until after I got that stage, and I had one of the biggest. I fell into Kenzo's arms because he was the first person there, and I cried, and I was like, I did it. I did it. Like it was a journey, and I was like, "Oh my God, I actually did it." So that was accomplishment on its own, to be able to stand there, do my speech within the time frame, say what I had to say, and I there was something that took over me after the first sentence, though. Like, I don't know if it was like an out of body experience, but I felt it take over me after the first line of my speech. And I let whatever happened happen from that point on. And then the second part is when I saw you in that video. When
Oh
you saw me
God.
win and how ran up and down those rows, screaming with it, you lost your voice. That was one of the best moments that I watched. And I was like, there you go, Papa. That was for you.
Oh,
Because I knew you were proud of me that day. And that was very important to me. Um, that you were proud and you felt, you know, you did that on that stage. You did that. Now, whether I was going to win or not, that was a huge blessing and surprise. Because at that point, I did what I came to do.
so it really didn't matter. If had you not won, would it have
No,
mattered to you
no,
at that point?
because I did what I came to do.
But I mean, I think that, and I'm not saying this because you won. I'm just saying that preparation, the magnitude of preparation that we poured into you was major. It's major. And do you think that people who, and I've heard all spectrums of it. People just say, I would just want to go and have a good time. I want to show up and just show up as myself and just have a good time. What would you say to those people that come to this platform with that idea?
It's good to have a good time and enjoy the journey. However, when you come here and stand on that stage, you need to stand for something. There needs to be a reason why you're here, whether it's the message that you want to give, whether it's that one person you want to reach. But if you come to this empty, as this is a party and there's no real meat and potatoes behind why you're standing on that stage, the judge is going to see it, the audience is going to see it, and your fellow contestants are going to see it. And I wouldn't want that for you. Like, if you are wanting just to get some check mark to say, well, I went to IML and not go to IML for a specific purpose, to give a message, to show, you know, something that you want to give back to the community and to the world when you stand on that stage every time you present, I think you're wasting your time and your money.
That's a perspective. It's a perspective.
I think the reason why I did it well, as good as I did, is because I came forward with a purpose. I came, and I think a lot of people, and I think a lot of people in my class did. And I think that's why a lot of them, even though they didn't win, they're really successful.
And still doing good work
Oh
in the
my
community.
God, yeah,
Measurable.
measurable work. I couldn't tell you how proud I am of the class of 46. And not just me, but I think our whole class showed that you don't have to win to be successful. You don't have to be the IML to make an impact in the community, especially in your community, because they chose you to be their representative. You already are a champion for your community. Now, all you doing is you're taking that message that you and the things that you've done for your community to help and to grow them and bring it to a larger masses.
So this is the segment where we talk about sordid lies and untold tales called Slut.
Oh, you're gonna call me out.
So what is the sluttiest thing that you've done sexually? How many? 1 or 2, 12, 10, 20.
Okay. Like I said, explore, right? Um, mm, uh, besides all the dungeon and group, I would say a foursome. That I had in Michigan. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And it was two pops and two handlers. It was very switch and a couple of spit roasts, and it was good. It was good.
How long did it last?
It was a good, I would say it was a good hour and a half, but it had us on the back patio smoking cigars and having a,
Oh.
that was a good experience because it was like a camp thing. The way where Michigan has their contest, that was fun. That was fun. It may not be, I I could be a slut. So I would say I would say it's up there. I don't know. It's been so many experiences, and being a slut is an eye of the beholder.
Well, I'm beholding right now.
Oh. Well, I mean, I could say, I don't know. Well, here's the thing.
A brave sip.
I I do love my classmates, and I'm sorry, but I had some hot classmates. Okay, right before that, the Wednesday before IML last year, we had a dungeon party, and it was just us, our class. There's a meet and greet, and we had a good time together.
Oh,
We did
brotherly bonding.
some brotherly bonding, and exchanged some fluid prior to getting stressed out for the contest. So that was our way of letting out a lot of the stress before going into the contest.
Literally.
Yes, and my back throat got trained that night. Yes, I was able to take a and not choke on it. I know that's news to you.
Well, yeah, it is. It is. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the Best Case Sex. So if people want to find you, where can they find you? And
On Facebook, um, Jamal Herrera-O'Malley. We have Instagram, which is at O'Malley75. There's Twitter, which is at Herrera770. I still kept that little letter.
okay. You would never be able to get rid of
Well,
it.
Atlanta was always a part of my life. So, and a major part of my life. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Atlanta. So, of course, I'm going to keep a little bit of Atlanta. I keep a little bit of Atlanta with me all the time.
So if you could give one parting words to the incoming class of IML 47, look directly into that camera and tell them what you want them to know.
Come with purpose. Be here for a reason. and show your ass. Like, this is the time for you to show the best version of you, but it needs to be you, not what you think we want to see, but we want the best version of you. And you're going to win if you do that, regardless of what the end result is.
And that was the Best Gay Sex Show. I'm Master J. Tebias Perry, and we bid you a good night.
That's our show for today. Thank you so much, as always, for listening. I'm really grateful. And thank you to Master Perry and Jamal for volunteering their time to be a part of this conversation. I'm really just honored to have them on this podcast, truly. If you're wondering what you can do to support the podcast, it doesn't take much, just a few little clicks online to leave us a positive review. Share the episode or a reel that you like on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, whatever platform you use. I really appreciate the support, as always. Next episode's going to be a great one. Look forward to seeing you then. Till next time.